Hi everyone, and welcome to my video series from start to stage, where I share with you the ups and downs of my journey getting to the stage on the 18th of September for the Brisbane Championships, where I'm going to be competing in the bikini section and in an eeny teeny weeny bikini. I keep saying that because it's nightmarish, really. Oh no, it's all good. So just to share with you what my week has been like. Oh, it's been an interesting week. So I'll be honest with you, isn't it hilarious how one week you can be going, I got this, and then the next week you go, maybe I should cancel. Well, that's the week I've had this week. So I've been in a mindset that give me an excuse and I'm going to grab it. So I've had a few excuses this week, girls. So first excuse was all the lockdowns, which we are not in lockdown in Queensland. However, as you know, New South Wales, Victoria, and I was thinking to myself, Dana, is this really the time for you to be doing this? So many people are suffering, going through really hard times. Is this really the time for you to be thinking about doing this? And I'm having thoughts of, nah, just give up. Just don't worry about it. Do it next year. Who cares? And then I go into, maybe you should just sleep on that decision. Like, don't make any rash decisions. And I learned that there was a book I read once, and it was on decision making. And it was saying that sometimes when we make a rash decision, we believe that we are listening to our intuition, but they did like a bit of a study on it, and they found that people that made rash decisions often made the incorrect decision. So anyway, so I thought I'll just sleep on it. And I didn't do anything in regard to that. I'm just like, and then I was on a Facebook page from the community. It's called ICN Community, which I Compete Naturally community page. And one of the ladies wrote on there something about hair, makeup and tan. Where do you book in for the day? And I'm like, I've forgotten about that. I forgot that I'm supposed to like get my hair done and get my makeup done, and you're supposed to book in. And so I thought, okay, that's cool. And so I went on to book, and basically it was all booked out. And the only time available was 11 a.m. and I am competing at 11:40. And so they've got to do your hair, your makeup, you put that horrible tanning stuff on, and the whole thing takes at least 2 hours. And I'm like, oh well, that's it. I'm not meant to do this. I'll just back out. It's just not the time. And so that was my headspace. And another thing I learned in regard to that decision making was that you should look at the opposite of the decision you're going to make. And so the opposites were like, if I didn't do it, basically I'd given up. So there was no outcome of getting on stage. I've wasted a lot of money. I don't say I've wasted energy, because I truly believe I've learned so much in this journey about my headspace. But I thought I wasted money about bikini and those high heels and that posing stuff, and I've given up. And I thought, is that cool? And then I looked at the opposite, and the opposite was, okay, Dana, push through, situation solve. Don't look at it as give up, but what now? And potentially the outcome is that you are up on stage and you've completed your goal of what you wanted to achieve. And I thought, well, I'll just reach out on the page. And so I got onto the page and I just said, oh, I'm fairly new at this. Can anybody give any recommendations as to hair, makeup, tanning? Because I see that it's all booked out, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, OMG, the ICN community, let me do a shout out. They were like, I just said, amazing humans. Like, I was being bombarded with people. Even the promoter of the whole thing got onto me, and he was sending me text messages as well as voice messages. And he's like, what time are you on? Let me see if I can sort this out for you. He was making phone calls. The community was saying, get onto this website, ring them directly. They keep secret appointments. I'm like, okay then. So I felt very, very, very supported, and what a difference that made. So it was literally a phone call to the place, and I just went, this is me that's been on the Facebook group, and she was so helpful, booked me in for everything, 8:30 a.m. on the Sunday, and I'm organized. So I thought, okay, I'm meant to do this. I'm meant to follow this journey through, because what I realized this morning was I had one of my clients in my business want to cancel her journey of the next program that I'm about to start, Fit, Fast and Fabulous, because she's broken her ankle. And for all of us, we'd probably go, well, I get that, because if I broke my ankle, I wouldn't be thinking about doing a program like exercise fitness program either. But the reality was, for me as her trainer with 30 years experience, was like, no, don't cancel now. This is the time you got to buckle down. And you still got you got two arms and another leg here that all need support. Otherwise, your body is going to unravel in this time that you're going to be looking after that broken foot. And so I'm like, no, do not cancel. And then it was just interesting, because in my head, I was thinking to myself, she's gone into overwhelm. She's broken a foot. Everything just seems way too much for her. The exercises that I'm offering really aren't suitable for her, because they're not being specifically designed. So it's all too hard. And I get that. But it was this thing again that it made me remember that those people that are successful aren't the ones that give up. They are the ones that dig in deeper. So what I mean by that is they think outside the box. They get colorful in their thinking. So for her to be able to come to me and go, I think I'll cancel, and for me to go back and go, hang 10, this is plan B about to come up. We've been able to create a program, I'm about to create a program for her that's going to sustain her, help her, and actually progress her body forward while she's rehabilitating that foot. And I brought it back to myself and sort of gave myself a slap over the face and said, you were doing exactly the same thing. You were wanting to cancel. You were wanting to give up because the going got a little bit tough, and you just made any excuse you could to back out. And if I sat in that and thought, well, why? Once again, I'm feeling inadequate to get up on stage amongst these young girls, and I have to keep slapping myself on the face and say, you're not in it for that reason. You are in it to, really be able to get the learnings that you get from doing the journey to getting on stage. And gee, there have been so many learnings. So in regard to my exercise, I've been doing PBs, girls, like they're going out of fashion. And I was just on my way home this morning thinking, gee, I can't believe it. Like I'm now shoulder pressing 10 kilo dumbbells each arm, which for me, girls, this shoulder, I had frozen shoulder for 18 months. And those of you that had frozen shoulder know where we're at. For me to lift up my handbag was just not a nightmare. So for me to have my shoulders in balance, lifting 10 kilos each shoulder is incredible. And, my lower back, like I've talked about that, and I'm just pushing boundaries with my weights in my legs, and I'm PBing all the time, and it's blowing my mind because I'm feeling more and more powerful in my mindset. Like I can conquer the world. And I know that's bizarre to say that, but that's the feeling you get because I'm overcoming my fear. And it's that overcoming of my fear that gives me that confidence and that that feeling of strength and that feeling of, I don't know that it's self-worth. It's not self-worth, but it's just that feeling of, it's confidence, I guess. It's just, I'm okay. Like, it's just like, rather than bagging myself out all the time, I'm feeling quite motivated, maybe is the word. I'm trying to find the right word for you. I'm not sure it's even the right word, but it's just been so worth the journey, even if it's cancelled, this program, this thing due to COVID. I just don't care, because it's just, I have learned so much again about life giving you this and staying in the plan. Don't give up. Interesting how your mind plays tricks on you when it wants to give up. It's like sneaky. It'll sort of make all the excuses under the sun. And it's when you believe your excuses that you give up. It's like, and I've been able to not believe my excuses. So yeah, a little bit impressed. So what else have I got to share with you? So in regard to food, I've been pretty good. Like, I'm good. I don't really deviate too much from food. The only thing that I did was Rob and I have a free night, which I tell you about, Saturday night, fish and chips, big salad, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, when we went to get the fish and chips, I said, we should go out for dinner together one night. We haven't been out for dinner for ages. And he said, let's do it tomorrow night. And I'm like, okay. So I actually had 2 nights where I was eating off plan, but I didn't eat off plan to the extreme as such. Like when we went out for our restaurant dinner, Robert ordered surf and turf, and I'd ordered calamari. I know I'm a calamari freak. Calamari, and it was like rocket parmesan salad, and that's really all it came with, like a rocket parmesan. I might have had some walnuts in it, but anyway, it was fine. And the calamari was fresh, and we'd gone to a nicer type restaurant, so it was, it wasn't deep fried. It was cooked really well. It was beautiful. And then Rob's surf and turf was so massive, because I said to him, let's not do entrees or garlic bread, so we can share a sticky date pud for dessert, because I love my sticky date pud. And anyway, his was so massive that I just said, are you going to be able to eat dessert? And he's like, oh, I'll have one mouthful. And I thought to myself, that could be a bit risky for me, because I potentially will eat 99% of it. So I thought, all that sugar, maybe just go without dessert. Do you need it? And so we decided not to have dessert. So I really didn't go off plan that much, but I sort of did, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so that was cool. And the other thing I wanted to share with you in regard to my exercise is in regard to my running. I've been doing a new practice lately, which I have found fascinating. There's a guy out there called James Nestor, and I have been listening to him for probably 12 months, and it's in regard to breath work. And basically, if you are a mouth breather, how detrimental it is to your health. And, you think of people with sleep apnea and people that sleep with their mouth open. And I don't, thankfully, do any of that. Like, I do tend to breathe through my nose. However, when I run, I can catch myself being a mouth breather. And so I'm breathing in and out of my mouth. And he was actually saying how bad that is. Like, when you breathe through your nose, he was saying that you actually filter the air, and you get more oxygen into the lungs breathing through the nose than through the mouth. And because if you go in and out of the mouth, you're actually creating more toxins through the body. So he said you become more efficient, it's healthier. And I was like, I can try this. So I have loved it. I've absolutely loved it. So I've been with my running, I've been breathing in and out of the nose, basically as if I've super glued my mouth shut. And it's been fantastic. So that's been interesting. And I must say, I've been feeling quite upbeat. So whether that is even been good for me, I don't know. But anyway, it's been great. The other thing I've been doing with my running is because I've noticed I'm getting a little bit slower, and I know the importance of keeping fast twitch muscle fiber going as we age, especially. And I don't want to get slower. I don't want to go into that. So I did a little trick that I know works for me, and it's listening to music. And I put on Spotify in my ears, and I listen to young people's upbeat stuff, cardio, and I'm literally dancing while I'm running. Well, anyway, just as short, long story short is I noticed this morning I was 45 seconds faster per kilometer than I have been doing. And that's quite a lot. Like I did 6Ks. So over 6Ks, it's over 5 minutes faster than what I was doing, which is quite good. So I've been super duper impressed by that. And it just makes me, because I'm running that bit faster again, I'm getting the endorphin hit. Because I'm getting the endorphin, it's just uplifting my morning. And yeah, so happy days in regard to that one. So I wanted to also share, I did get my vaccine, AstraZeneca, done, and that was interesting for me because I was pushing to go Pfizer because of my age. I'm 54, and I thought I'll go Pfizer and I'll wait. But I live with Rob, who is what I would say high risk. Rob's a type 2 diabetic. He has other pre-existing stuff going on. Rob is older than me. And I thought, why don't I just go AstraZeneca? Like, what's the problem? Well, it ended up a massive problem. I couldn't get in. Nobody would do AstraZeneca because of my age. I had to wait for Pfizer, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, it ended up our chemist ended up getting all this stuff in, and they said, we'll just do it on the spot. And when I went to sign to say I'll do AstraZeneca, I actually can't even have Pfizer. So the reason being is I've had pericarditis twice. And what pericarditis is inflammation of the lining of the heart. And I've never been so sick in my life. Well, anyway, if you've had pericarditis, you actually can't have Pfizer. So I thought that was interesting. So I've had my first AstraZeneca, and I had no side effects whatsoever, like at all. I wouldn't have even known I've had it. And I was quite pleased by that, because I was in a quandary as to whether to get vaccinated. And I was trying to figure out in my head, what is my problem? Like, I really want to do the right thing by Rob. I want to do the right thing by the community. What is my problem? And my problem was I'm so allergic to putting substances into my body. But I had to give myself once again a bit of a responsibility talk. I'm like, well, do you really know all that food you're eating, Dana, what actually is in that? Like how they've actually maybe put sprays on it in the farm, maybe they've, who knows really. And then I was thinking back to, I was looking back in history to the Black Death, and also to the Spanish flu, and how they actually got in history it to subside. And it was all to do with exactly what we're doing now, isolation. And also I feel like vaccination for me, I was so in a quandary about it, but I felt like, well, am I really that allergic to vaccinations, or am I just allergic to the fear of what my outcome might be? So at the end of the day, I thought, you know what, if I have a bad reaction and I die, I'm not going to know about it. And I thought, I need to do this. This is just the way that we have to all move forward. And so I took the leap. I'm really glad I have now. I've been able to move through that, clear it from my head, and feeling good about myself, because I feel like I'm supporting Rob, and I feel like I'm doing the right thing by the community as well. So that's been a good thing to do, and another tick. And those of you that are not going to get vaccinated, please don't think that I'm trying to sell this to you, because I'm not. I'm just sharing my story, and I respect whatever decision anybody makes, and doesn't make me feel different about anybody. It's just, for me personally, I was struggling, and I needed to make that decision to be able to move forward. I was ridden with guilt. So you might be asking in regard to weigh-in and measurement. Well, girls, I didn't do it. I had to do photos on Saturday for my coach, Sarah, and they're what you just call check-in photos. And she's super duper duper happy with, she said, you can really tell you've increased lean muscle mass, you've decreased body fat. And I just thought, happy days. I'm going to weigh in and measure next Tuesday, rather than me being once again into that mindset of, if I don't weigh in and measure, I failed. I'm trying to relax a little bit in that. So that's good. So I just don't care. I feel good. I feel strong. My weights are going up. My body feels healthy. And I think, what more could I want at our age? And that's what I want. So yeah, so that's all good. I think that's it, girls. That's me. Did I talk too long? I don't know. Anyway, so we've got 3 weeks to go on this weekend, and I'll keep checking in with you, and I'll let you know how it goes. So thanks for joining me on the journey. All the magic happens in the last 2 weeks. That's where it will get quite interesting. That's where we call, they call it peak week. And it's where you manipulate the body in a way to bring out the muscles, decrease the body fat. It's quite amazing what happens in that week. So stay with me, and we'll keep pushing forward on this journey. All right, girls, take care. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.